it would probably be more feasible to call this roundtable funner together and not stronger together, because it is the second day of our wonderful forum. And it happens so that probably the key word that sounded yesterday was collaboration, and we wanted to make this word the major one in today's discussion. And actually, it is exactly the principle on which our association is based. Today we are going to discuss, probably you were present at the plenary session, and there were discussions elsewhere. We were discussing various models and various cooperative models based on openness. There was a discussion at the plenary session about the digital surfing, about open API, open banking, open finance. And I would like to, prior to my actual presentation, to make an introduction of the participants of today's discussion. And those are Rafael Ganza, General Manager of Hong Kong Fintech Association. He will be remotely present, he will be speaking English, and if translation support is necessary, you have headsets which the colleagues will help you to obtain. Mr. Andrei Burilov, member of the board and also member of the IT Council of Moscow Exchange. Olga Sorokina, member of the board of the VSK insurance company. Maria Shevchenko, Deputy Director General of QIWI. Sergey Bezbogov, Senior Vice President of VTB, and Nikolai Kozak, Managing Director of DOM.RF company. As you understand, again, our association is quite a broad platform, a broad structure, which incorporates a lot of major players in the financial market. 13 members of AFT, 18 associated members of AFT, over 30 partners. And yesterday we've signed an agreement about membership of Yadro, or the core company, its accession to our association, which means expanding the focus of our operation. And once again, in this session, I would like to discuss about the place and the purpose of the work of our association, and perhaps to discuss some inputs from both speakers and participants of today's roundtable. I would like to voice something that happened lately. The general meeting of the association members have accepted the new priority directions of our activities, and it has been confirmed that we are a platform for the interface between different stakeholders in order to develop the Russian high-tech market, the independent financial market based on the Russian locally developed technologies. And again, we're talking about the collaboration, the need for collaboration and interface. And yesterday there have been many thoughts and ideas which, in our opinion, provide a possibility for a certain renaissance of the financial technologies, and in some way we can refer to it as AFT 2.0, and some key directions for our activities have been identified, such as research, analysis, the development of the digital products and services, and also the development of financial and information technologies, piloting, prototyping of the initiatives of various projects, and increasing the level of information safety of the financial technologies. And as we were determining those global trends, we have analyzed various sources. As we were determining our strategy, we were relying on the understanding of the global technology and financial trends, and of course it is very straightforward. They are stated in the documents which determine the digitalization of finance. and of the financial market. Such trends as client focus, personalization, disintermediation, development of the technologies that are based on dispersed distributed registers, digital currencies issued by the central banks, and also yesterday a lot has been said about the open ecosystems, open interfaces, open banking, and that trend has been taken into account, and all of that laid the foundation for the potential initiatives and topics which will be later touched upon. And currently today also we are talking in order to introduce this topic for the discussion. We will actually focus on 3 of them which have just recently commenced, or that are the illustration or the consequence of this rebooting and orientation to digital services, improving of the client methodology, the initiative in digitalization of mortgages and insurance, and the kind of a global topic such as open APIs. And a step backwards is this. We need to look backwards at the collaboration topic, and actually the foundation of our success and sustainable development of the financial technology market is improving the efficiency of collaboration, including the fact that collaboration can be both horizontal between different participants of the financial market, similar participants. So vertical collaborations between the manufacturers of the solutions, suppliers of the solutions, the consumers of the solutions, and also cross-industrial collaborations, which many of you might have noted. This very interesting discussion at the plenary session, which was called Digital Surfing, where actually I think very major, very core decisions have been taken. Collaboration is important, and once again I would like to ask our guest, Raphael, to tell about this story, to dwell more upon this, what it looks like from the Asian perspective, Asian horizon. He is a representative of the Hong Kong Financial Technology Association, and it's a very interesting one from the point of view of financial novelties and technology development. And as we have scrutinized, reviewed the materials that have released, presented at a recent conference in that region about the Hong Kong Fintech Association, we were amazed at how much our understanding, our vision of the role and place of those platforms, such platforms, is similar. And that is why we very happily invited Raphael in order to share how it works in the case of his association. Спасибо, Максим. До того, как я начну, я хотел бы пожелать доброго утра вам и аудитории, поприветствовать вас из Гонконга, издалека. Сотрудничество — это очень большая цель. И я хотел бы поэтому рассказать вам немного о нашей ассоциации, о том, как она работает на нашем рынке. Наверное, мы крупнейшая ассоциация финтеха в Азии с точки зрения количества членов. И, конечно, как ассоциация мы должны слушать, что хотят наши члены, чтобы мы делали. И, естественно, то, чего они хотят, это чтобы ассоциация представляла их, представляла экосистему финтеха, и чтобы это была общая ассоциация в Гонконге для подобного бизнеса. И когда мы говорим о представлении, мы говорим также о представлении перед регуляторами, перед правительственными органами, также на различных отраслевых конференциях. Наша деятельность, я бы сказал, касается 3 крупных сфер. Это которые мы называем продвигать, сотрудничать и обучать. Я хотел бы рассказать, что это означает с точки зрения продвижения. В принципе, мы в целом занимаемся практически всеми публичными обсуждениями, которые происходят на нашем рынке, когда дело касается формирования экосистемы, каких-то рамок, в которых функционирует бизнес. Это как бы и клиент с клиентом, и клиент с бизнесом, это открытый банкинг, API, структуры, операции с гонконгским долларом, также регулирование виртуальных активов, также электронные валюты. И почему мы это делаем? Потому что наши члены, которые хотели бы, чтобы мы представляли их в том, что касается формирования условий, в которых они функционируют. И мы, к счастью, находимся в таком положении перед регуляторами, что они хотят от нас слышать, как наше мнение, потому что мы представляем эту экосистему. И наш взгляд может быть таким же или другим, как взгляд Ассоциации банков или страховых компаний. Поэтому, к счастью, мы сейчас, через 5-6 лет нашего существования, мы находимся в таком положении, что мы можем очень прочную связь создали с регулятором, с правительством, и мы можем передавать свое мнение, видим ли мы в чем-то какие-то проблемы, одобряем ли мы что-то, что касается сотрудничества. Это сотрудничество, связь с различными участниками или заинтересованными сторонами. И как ассоциация мы не одни в нашей экосистеме. Также есть университеты, есть торгово-промышленная палата, ассоциации банков, инкубаторы и научно-технические парки. И поэтому все эти звенья, они что-то делают в области финтеха, финансовых технологий, но у них своя повестка дня. И наша ассоциация является как бы суперсвязывающим звеном. Мы связываем всех в рамках этой экосистемы. И будь то члены нашей ассоциации или люди, которые находятся в одном шаге, в одном звене от членов этой ассоциации. Поэтому мы являемся именно этим суперсвязывающим звеном. Суперсвязывающее звено на рынке. И что касается образования, это как бы двусторонний подход, в рамках которого мы объединяемся вместе с университетами, с образовательными учреждениями, помогаем формировать их программы с точки зрения формирования контента, общения со спикерами, и в то же время наш второй подход состоит в том, что у нас есть собственные мастер-классы, и поскольку у нас более 900 членов, практически нет тематик, которые бы имели какое-то звучание, в которых были какие-то заинтересованности в Гонконге, которые бы мы не охватывали. Поэтому мы находимся в очень хорошем положении с точки зрения охвата всех этих тем, которые относятся к нашей экосистеме. Thank you, Rafaela. We hope we will hear you today again, and I hope you will be here with us during our session. It will be very interesting to hear your opinion. When you familiarize yourself with our today's agenda, thank you very much. On the one hand, there are certain colors to what we are saying about, what different participants are saying about the collaboration, about the interplay between different platforms and the development of the financial markets. Of course, there are some differences, and the ideas about the prospects for their development are different. And I would like to ask a question to Maria Shevchenko. How, in your opinion, or what does collaboration, in your opinion, look like in the financial market, in your opinion? As the QIWI company, the company that has been traditionally active from the point of view of the partnerships from the point of view of the integration within yourself of different, within your platform of different businesses and partners, how do you see the collaboration and how do they help in developing innovative products and how do they enable the operation of innovative ecosystems in the new set of realities? For example, in the plenary session, there has been this opinion raised that the collaborations have enabled us to face the difficulties and overcome them in the course of the current year, for example. And they have helped us to solve certain acute problems. So, what would this story, in your opinion, look like? Thank you, Maxim, for this question. Actually, the situation is changing, and it's very appropriate that you are saying about AFT 2.0, because there was more competition in AFT 1.0, because we cooperated more, because private banks were cooperating, pooling efforts in order to oppose the big green monopolist, or we have cooperated with the state to make joint infrastructure projects, and a cooperation was necessary, but everyone at the same time remained competitors. And what is happening this year, it's actually a big interface, big cooperation when it comes to import replacement and the discussion of what technologies are necessary, and that's how this new trend was born about the Russian technologies, Russian tech, because each bank, each ecosystem has its own set of technologies, but we have a unified payment system, we have a unified central bank, and many partnership projects have been created at the junction point of technologies. And one bank cannot cope with this by itself. Another topic which will keep developing is the cybersecurity, because we do need to develop it. Another trend which has actually been highlighted when it comes to open up, maybe it will happen at some point in Russia, but it's already happening in Europe. But now there are many useful cases which now will be implemented and or are going to be implemented, and we are taking part in a number of pilot projects, including receiving the data of our clients from other banks in order to make certain services more advanced for the benefit of our clients, and increasing the score, the ratings, and also when it comes to external trade, foreign trade, it has become a luxury to have foreign settlements, foreign currency settlements. Now it's difficult to deal with it without collaboration between the banks. And we do have to think about it. Of course, digital ruble of the central bank opens a great space for joint creativity, and the fintech market can show us a lot. But of course, we need to try to sense the correct balance between the collaboration and competition. And both are necessary. And again, speaking about the open API, yesterday at a session, we have been able to feel this kind of subject, to sense what kind of, get a sense of what the criteria may be in a kind of a real-time mode, to sense this boundary and to support both competition and collaboration. And it's a good tool when it comes to the financial infrastructure, which is by itself a good driver. And it enables the development of and enables solving many difficult questions via those technologies. So, Andrei, you as a representative of the financial infrastructure, financial market infrastructure, an exchange, And when it comes to collaboration in the banking or non-banking market, how does the collaboration in those areas enable you to develop the investment products, investment-related products, exchange-related products? What kind of insights, what kind of interesting insights or projects do you have in that field, or are planned? What do you have in the pipeline? The national finance infrastructure, of which we are one of the core parts, we enable people to trade, and we are actually a product of collaboration and not of competition, because we provide a possibility which, if it's not being used, no trade day can occur. And we have a very strong corporate management culture. We have very powerful committees, user committees, broker committees, banks, which represent their own interests in the client committees, using different tools such as currency and shares, and what kind of functionalities can arise in order to make it comfortable for our clients to use those tools. Also, we have over 25 members of the IT committee, which also tackle various issues. Also, it's known, for example, to everyone that we have implemented this simplification with the brokers jointly of online identification of the clients, which led to a boost of retail clients in our markets. And we have made it a benchmark to lead it to the same, take it to the same percentage level as in China, because in China 13% of the population are trading, and we have 22% of the population, 22 million, which is quite a high percentage of the population. And at one point, about 100,000 people registered themselves per day. Previously, with a lot fewer registrations, the systems were already overloaded. So it's a good example of collaboration, which makes the market liquid, makes them demanded, and the spread between the trading instruments, between the purchase and sale, are very small, they are minimal, and that yields the result which the client needs. So this is why I think that collaboration is built in our case in a very good way, and I would like to therefore thank Maxim for joining this entire story, because we will really be doing a lot. We have discussed our previous plans about the input and registered, and together we are stronger. And this topic, like Maria also said, and Andrei as well, as he has emphasized, the topic of developing the technologies is actually currently going to the forefront and is becoming very important. And like we have discussed yesterday, it is very important for us to support the rate, the pace of the development of fintech in the financial market, which was maintained somehow historically. Therefore, there is a question to Sergey that I would like to ask. I heard yesterday that VTB had quite a positive expectation that you might, in a matter of 3 years, to save about 13 billion rubles, or spend more optimally the funds for technology development by means of using independent technologies, which again, there was actually a lot of discussion yesterday about this topic, which is quite understandable. And the box package solutions are ready in the financial sector, and now already many companies are not implementing those solutions, and many companies are actually already doing their own developments in many platforms. So now maybe this information can be commented if it's inappropriate information, if I have quoted it correctly, and if you are developing yourself actively and your technologies are self-sufficient, and if there is any future, any prospect when it comes to collaboration, when it comes to the development, the open source or limited collaboration in the financial sector, is there any point in that? And again, in the large companies may be doing things by themselves. Thank you for this question, and again, in one question there are many things which are being raised, but I would like to comment on import replacement again. I heard many messages yesterday, and of course doing the import replacement is something, quite a complex, routine and expensive and unpleasant task. And we can actually switch ourselves to the fact that we are not dealing with the import replacement, but we are actually dealing with different technologies, making a different focus, different emphasis. So this benefit that our funding specialists have confirmed, and that means that we have actually started making a platform, a system based on those technologies, and during the time that we have been creating it, our joint economic effect is now expressed in tens of billions of rubles. Moreover, we have a whole program built on that now, and our business, which in the beginning was actually an investment business, and it can actually calculate money very well. So from the point of view of how we can build the system and live on, especially having in mind those boxes on which we could have relied in the past and obtain them from our partners in the past, now not partners any longer. Actually, it's kind of an evolution. It has evolved into the following. First, we have found the best things overseas because it was more promising, more advanced, etc. And we took those boxes, we have used them here, and we understood that they have many limitations as well, and started to develop something internally and try to find a certain competitive edge by means of implementing our own developments, and they were custom-made solutions, and now those custom-made solutions are turning into boxes on the other end, which we are prepared to offer in the market. So this is a kind of evolution that we have gone through, and now jointly with the technical partners, we as the financial organizations, which were actually being a driver of technology changes, and now we can branch out those changes that we can offer in the market, offer them to the market. And it's the topic which can be supported by the register, by the depository, because it's like a concentration of all our competences that we have developed to date, and there are certain developments therein which can enable one to develop a competitive edge, because without competition, like one of the panelists said yesterday, nothing happens without a competition. And if we take all our developments and present them on the platform, AFT platform, then Moreover, we will be able to exchange the advantages and disadvantages of each specific solution, the experience of implementation, the experience of understanding the characteristics or parameters of this or that solution, and that will ultimately become and it won't disrupt the competition that exists nowadays between us and the competition which exists between the technology companies. So in itself, this idea of collaboration and transition to making our own boxes in a good sense, it's actually a trend that we should be following. Thank you. And again, now, Nikolai, a question to you. Yesterday at the technology session there was a position that we have heard about. They have some internal understanding at DOM.RF that there should be some 80-20 ratio between internal, external and in-house products. And there are some intermediate area which can be done in this kind of collaboration between the players of the financial market, maybe some parts of the platform or some specialized tools or something of that nature. Yes, Maxim. Thank you for the question. I would like to actually draw your attention to the context that we should all look at as IT companies looking in the banking sector. And Rafael is probably listening to us and he probably doesn't understand what import replacement is and why so many people are involved in it. But for us it's really difficult, and as Home.RF we were preparing ourselves for that for quite some time. And we are currently in a more positive mood rather than a negative mood, and how it's so unwinding, unraveling. In order to answer your question, Maxim, initially we were supposed to make a choice, working with the vendors, implement the boxes, and the boxes, it should be 30% for customization, and we all followed that principle, followed that ratio, and we've managed to concentrate on our own developments of that kind of infrastructure pieces like platforms. And one of those platforms, which you perfectly know about, is nasz DOM.RF, our Home.RF. It's a huge information system which is seeing everything about the shares, the equity, common equity financed housing construction, and soon it will be able to see all the residential construction development projects, and enables to develop very fast, very promptly, all kinds of program projects. And of course it's data. We have actually created an analytical platform for the data where we are handling all the machine learning and sort of startup level AI projects. And we thought about partnership, and we tried to get into partnerships stories, but it wasn't very successful. And then the era of import replacement has come. And we are a state corporation with a huge number of commercial companies within our boundaries, like bank belonging to DOM.RF. But it's a mixed blessing, because I realize that if we do not fulfill or meet some import replacement targets, speaking about the money and the percentage of using the software products, then I will be shot and insulted in very bad swear words. So if you are obliged to do something, we decided to benefit from that, and the first thing is that we have created within our company a very big laboratory, both in hardware and in software, and especially having to do with dealing with such things as laptops and other things. We have pulled it all together, we have invited many vendors, and we said, let us experience it together. Then it turned out, many interesting things turned out, such as, I said it yesterday, the cybersecurity story, cybersecurity systems in Russia are probably one of the best ones worldwide, and in some sectors they may be even competing with the Western solutions. And also we have many developments in virtualization systems and infrastructure software, and also other things related to laptops with the email clients and office applications. And we have found that all out and entered this kind of a collaboration jointly with AFT from the point of view of working with the vendors, and gradually the life has started to become easier. Everything got on the track, sort of, and some critical information systems which go through certain release cycles, and they should be approved by the Federal Security Service, because they also have to do with information systems. And actually the developers are generating the updates faster than the Federal Security Service can actually approve them. Therefore, speaking about the collaboration, the partners, it works in the framework of our testing laboratories. And we can also looking very intensely at joint developments. And we will shortly announce several software products and some partners with whom we will start working jointly with the code. It's very difficult because everyone has their own rules, and no matter how many platforms you would do, of course, the future belongs to that. When it comes to testing, to the feedback, and also the joint development, because the construction is a huge organism, a huge system, interwoven system. And what is happening with it currently nowadays when it comes to digitalization, actually now no companies are able to do anything like that, and this method of small teams actually enables one to work quite fast. And the most important thing, again, I'm talking about it again, is the fact that we need to find the evangelists within the company, develop the promotion and communication company for the implementation. So how we are doing about it? We are saying very openly that we are moving over to a video conference system. There was one thing, now there is a different thing. At the first it will be difficult, because not because the software is bad, but because it's just different. So we are taking a test group of people and we are running tests on them. They are making the presentations. We are collecting the data, and taking a director, calling director general. So finally it works. We are seeing that it works. And so the IT team is like, sometimes, you know, they used to put military engineers underneath a bridge once it was built to check whether it's whether it can hold and it won't fall down. So actually, yes, import replacement, it is a possibility. And if we want to be successful, we need to join together, we need to create the platforms for for an open discussion, open testing of the feedback tools between the corporations, the manufacturer, on the other hand, different joint replacements, especially of the key products, key software products, especially from the point of view of entering in the code. Thank you very much. Really, it is a very interesting idea in order to work in a collaborative manner on the level of organization. Of course, we need to agree about common rules, common standards, common architecture, and it is very important, an important thing that we are planning to do on the platform of our association is to pull together a few bodies, such as Technology Committee, the Council of Architects, etc., whose tasks will be to develop the common standards, the reference standards and models, which will enable one to develop the joint solutions and provide for interoperability between different solutions. And moving over to the second part and of this hot topic, hot projects or initiatives which exist beyond the limits of the technology area. I am actually looking with a lot of pleasure. I'm very pleased and how actively your company is working with the new initiatives related to the digitalization of insurance and digitalization of medical institutions, which is quite important, and it is actually very good and very useful for the development of our products and the financial markets, and it correlates very well with the topics of the yesterday's discussion in terms of a transition to a model of open data and open ecosystems. Can you please elaborate on how that is being built and what kind of priorities there exist and what kind of stimuli exist for that kind of collaboration of your business within your business? Good afternoon, colleagues. We spoke a lot about being stronger together in the collaboration, and Nicholas have voiced a very interesting thesis. Many issues are related to the state, and the fintech platform has become an important ground for the dialogue between business and the state. And many insurers are investing in the tech which enables to satisfy the clients, to meet the clients' needs in our business. In order to obtain the better operational efficiency, but we can achieve a significant breakthrough only jointly with the state, with the assistance of the state. And both central bank and the state are running a very zealously. They are very focused on the digital profile development, which helps us in our interface with the clients from the point of view of the data security and data quality. And digitalization of medicine is one of the things in our sector. We as insurers have found ourselves between the hammer and the anvil, because here the medical insurance is helping us, and health ministry is helping us here, and voluntary medical insurance has become sort of unattended by any of those institutions, which so Fintech Association has become such a platform for us. Both ministries, both healthcare ministry and the central bank have supported it, and now we are working with towards the digitalization of the healthcare sector, and we have seen quite an important motion forward in the sphere of public funds and now in the business sector as well. And actually the government has chosen the right approach by implementing technologies with the help of businesses, and we are also investing quite serious funds in that, and we expect some effects to be obtained. And the key focus of our associations in its new development vector is aimed at applied implementation, because one thing is to formulate a technology and another one is to scale it in order to achieve the results. So the key focus for us, apart from the digitalization of medicine, would be the open API and open data, which have been discussed at the plenary session, because without the clean, good quality data, it's impossible to provide for a throughput of a client. And quite recently in Moscow, an article was published where it has been stated that at the Moscow Ring Road there are cameras almost everywhere. Therefore, one can very easily remove the vehicle from the place of accident and reduce the hazards, relevant hazards arising from living there. But legislatively it's difficult, because we have to have a permission for using the data from the cameras, to be able to use the streaming of that data, and it should be also accepted by courts, by the government, etc. So with the help of the Fintech Association and digital economy and the state, we should be able to overcome the red tape, the bureaucratic barriers, and we are already seeing how this industry is already developing. So I think it's a very promising story. And the idea of the need, I think, for those solutions, and the kind of a joint collaborative presentation to the regulator and to the stakeholders, it's a very serious impetus to push it forward. And also at the plenary session we have also compared the model of the closed ecosystems and your bank and other types of systems. And so speaking about open API, and given that it is one of the key ideas for the development of financial markets, how do you see the further steps in the development of ecosystems of such models? Are you planning to use it and to move beyond the limits of closed partnership ecosystems? Yes, thank you. I think by themselves it entails greater opens. Having partnership entails greater opens than having closer groups of partners. And I think of course, API technologies is something that enables one to, jointly with the clients, to work with the greatest possible efficiency and connection using this or that set of services and different establishing connections between the bank using the standard interface, which is preliminary agreed in advance, and it's a kind of a standard interface. It provides an opportunity for a fast delivery of services. I think this kind of an approach with those externally available interfaces is justifiable, and I think that the partnership model is a little bit lagging behind, because of course on the 25th there was a little bit of a shock. We found ourselves in a very peculiar position worldwide on the world stage, and after that our clients and partners also shivered, were shocked a little bit, because they didn't know how that would affect our ties and our relations. So now the further we move, like a colleague said yesterday, we are moving along, and the clients understand that if they're working in Russia, whether it is SDN or not, and the openness of a bank and working with it is actually acquires this kind of a reverse dependency, reverse proportionality. In fact, we will probably always, in this type of an interface, be choosing some kind of a boundary beyond which we do not want to step, and it is probably on the level of it's outside competition, and what concerns servicing our clients, there will be more and more basic services, and they will go beyond the limits of the competitive environment, while know-hows and different projects will be a little bit closed to outsiders, because we compete with each other for the clients, and we wanted them to refer to us and not to other financial institutions. Another thing that I would like to add, from the point of view of servicing provider, everything in a service format, I would also like to support here the previous speaker, because there we need to have assistance on the part of the public sector, because there are many things which belong to back office and they are not a part of our competitive advantage. It's a business as usual. And the deep back office is always effective if there are more operations contained therein, and we try to make it more automatic, we try to build it in more and more effective manner, and the more operations we perform, the more smoothly it goes. So I think that in fact now the next step would be not only the service as access to the data or some technologies, but also the end service, which can be the internal business, but a kind of an end-to-end story. And to that end, we need, speaking about the banking environment, we need to find some kind of right type of interface for and use more cloud services and create the corporate services based on the functions which each bank has. It's not a new topic, but for our today's situation, from the point of view of the hardware, and we should be seeking some opportunities in that field in this new set of circumstances, in terms of using it for our end clients as well. So I think the future belongs to sourcing of services as the end functionality, not only the technical services. So Andrei, also Sergey also mentioned this idea, but for you as an exchange, as an institution, and you have been using APIs for quite a while, So, using the new type of, when you're talking about using new, non-classical, original, exchange-related products, would you be pushing forward and try to release those new products? Actually, yes, as an exchange. We've been there for quite a while. We are 30 years old. We started to develop in the 90s, and there was a very active implementation of the internet, and Moscow Exchange has skipped that stage of passing slips of papers to each other, crying out the numbers and codes, and we started to do it in the digital format from the beginning. So it was easier in a way. It was easier to connect to us for the brokers, and we started from the outset to support the protocol, and it also enables us to provide our service globally, and we maintain this protocol which enables a beginning broker to connect to us in the same way as to any other exchange worldwide. And this is an experience which we have gained when it comes to one tool or a set of tools, when it comes to shares, then derivatives, and then futures, has enabled us to scale very easily, and now the Moscow Exchange enables one to get a very broad access including monetary market and commodity market, all kinds of markets. And we have learned, because API is not only technical connection, but it's also billing, it's protection of the information, it's preventing the trespassing, preventing the intruders, and what we have started to propose, it's binary protocols. It's the protocols for those for whom speed is important, and we are now a member of the 5 exchanges worldwide which provide the speed rate more than 5 microseconds. So it's and also better degree of information protection, the opportunity of billing, and we have accumulated quite a bit of expertise. And we are not a classical exchange models. We are now developing the marketplace financial services which actually are based on a business model via the API and connecting of the bank to the insurance services, and also connecting to deposits and different kinds of banks. So the idea is that we could offer a better pricing and not base it on one specific solution. So here we followed a certain track or different tracks. So from the point of view of the banks, we are working with the topic which is related to open API. We are now the legislators. We set the fashion in the closing and opening methods, and safety ideas are also being developed and worked at. But the insurance market has gone far ahead, because the insurance market has been providing the interfaces to Fintech. So basically we have made a unique interface with all insurance companies, and also we have tested the idea, and we can say what we want from the bank, what we want from the insurance company. All those experiences, actually, all that expertise enables us to say that API does work, and that we are an example that shows that it's possible. And we have an abundant experience. We want to disseminate it, and we will be welcoming that in every way. And so this idea is proven. This idea of openness of APIs in various formats, it's a very productive story, and the digitalization of the mortgages. So one of our most active projects, it's like a red line. So Nikolai can actually say, we're actually beyond schedule a little bit, maybe Nikolai can say briefly what the expectations were from that initiative. It's actually being discussed at the fora. So what are the mortgage digitalization ideas that are on the table? It's actually not at our organization, so actually, but we have actually introduced it at the AFT platform. Actually, about the said things, there is no 100% digital mortgage. It's like the green corridor, green channel. You cannot do it seamlessly. For example, the face recognition system did not recognize me in glasses, so I couldn't pass through the green corridor. So when we're talking about digital mortgage, it's a seamless, perfectly seamless way. So it's a kind of a goal that will be achieved as a DOM.RF bank. We will try to do it before the end of this year. A lot is done. And there is a very classy story from the point of view of the interface between the state and the activity of the business. And in my opinion, we are missing the activity of business, because what needs to be actually done is for everyone to believe in the remote identification of the client. Because if we look at the percentage ratio of the people who can turn in their face parameters and the people, the data that is stored by Rostelecom, and also we should we should not be afraid of using digital signatures. Sometimes it's better for people to sign things remotely. And thirdly, perhaps, of course, we should keep working very seriously on the electronic securities. It's also present at the distributed registers. And recently, a person with whom I have spoken recently, he said he came to me with a huge stack of electronic securities, electronic collaterals. I think it's a strategic topic. It has been already decided. Basically, key points are there. We just need to link them, and we should probably go over to the side of the business and how we moved over to the paper-free document, electronic document circulation. There is either the director or the chief accountant who just said that from this day onwards we are going to start a different life. So we are now planning already the first fully digital transactions for the secondary real estate already next year. And it's a great pleasure for me to follow this initiative for digitalization of mortgages, because it's something new, something that Fintech Association, how it should be working, how we should be get involved with the new niche technologies, and also use it as pilot ones, as hypothesis for improving services in other fields and adjacent fields. Maria also, even though we are out of time, you also mentioned that one of the important topics is the improvement of the problem solving for problems that arise with cross-border digital funding, and use the company which has started to working with B2B solutions in terms of fintech. How do you think the association can help in this field? I will just say briefly about B2B, what is happening in B2B, because the association was more involved with B2C, and from the point of view of fintech of B2C, in B2C field, we are ahead of everybody. But when it comes to B2B solutions, classical banks are mostly dealing with it, and they are not actually putting it forward for everyone's observation on some platforms, but for B2C the solution should be actually quality solutions, and yet they should be cheap solutions, and they should be vertically integrated. When those institutions are accessing marketplaces, they connect to marketplaces, then they get money credited from clients to their accounts, and our company is analyzing the data and providing funding based on the marketplace data, and the internet stores have their own sites. They need their settlements with the clients, and they need to have either electronic wallets or installment payment, and there is some logistics, either couriers should be working with them, or the payments are also connected with the fact if the goods have reached the buyer or not, and they also need to be purchased somewhere, and the clients really wanted to be in the same, to be a one-stop shop, not for the clients not to run around, but for someone to be able to have a good, feasible, quality, seamless solution from one source, and open API, and actually moving over data from logistics to funding and promoting the marketing data. We can actually have the data circulation, so it's not financial technologies, but actually cross-stack. And we have an initiative on the trade financing, cross-border financing, and so we can expand it or maybe saturate it with some new ideas and proposals. So now let's move over to the final part. So prior to asking Raphael to briefly comment on what he has heard and how it correlates with what is happening on their side, I would like to ask our participants to prepare themselves and provide their characteristics of AFT 2.0. Just briefly, what is AFT 2.0 and how it sounded, to do something cheap, fast, promptly, and with a good quality. So the floor goes to you, Raphael. Я заинтересованно слушал все, о чем вы говорили, и также много узнал о том, что происходит на российском рынке, но очень многие вещи резонируют, что мы объясняли здесь в другой форме. И одна из тем, с которой я хотел бы коснуться, это противоречие между сотрудничеством и конкуренцией. И я думаю, что в рамках ассоциации мы могли бы очень много сделать в рамках создания некой общей идеологии, потому что то, что мы пытаемся сделать здесь по многим поводам, это давайте сначала сотрудничать, а потом конкурировать на этой основе. Например, когда говорится об открытом банкинге, то есть давайте как бы сначала сотрудничать в этой области создания этой среды, а затем конкурировать уже на основе этих наработок. То есть у кого самый лучший общение с пользователем, пользовательский опыт и так далее. И, то есть конкуренция должна появляться после сотрудничества на рынке. И, допустим, цифровизация пенсионных схем. Я думаю, что это тоже хорошая идея. И уже дальше мы можем говорить о том, у кого самая лучшая платформа, у кого самый легкий способ переключения провайдеров пенсионных схем. То есть это вот помогает нам формировать то, как выглядит наша отрасль и какой уровень у нее будет. И об этом можно говорить в теории. Практика, конечно, значительно отличается, потому что, по крайней мере, наш опыт с правительством в Гонконге состоит в том, что мы должны иметь определенный мандат от правительства, Если нет мандата, нет подотчетности, то тогда ничего не происходит. И поэтому регулятор, с точки зрения нашей стратегии Fintech 2025, очень определенно дал нам понять, что должно происходить и когда. И поэтому это задает определенный темп и создается, в частности, централизованная инфраструктура данных, банки и, например, малые и средние предприятия имеют общие платформы для обмена документами, и все это ускоряет взаимодействие между игроками на рынке. Кроме того, у нас есть IM Smart, это платформа для быстрого предоставления услуг на основе цифровой подписи с использованием электронного правительства. Это также может осуществляться онлайн, естественно. И, то есть, очень многие вещи, подписания многих документов могут таким образом осуществляться, но опять же, поскольку у правительства есть мандат, это является на проведение подобной политики, оно может выполнять организаторскую роль. И, конечно, страховые компании работают на высшем уровне в Гонконге, и есть большой опыт цифровизации страховых услуг. Очень сильные есть поставщики услуг. То есть это дает очень хороший сигнал всем остальным. Что касается ипотеки, то здесь у нас не очень большие достижения, и мы хотели бы узнать, как это происходит в России. Thank you. I think it's a very good, very useful feedback. Thank you, Rafael, for being with us. So literally just three parameters to describe AFT 2.0. I think jointly, promptly, and quick result, quick output. Yes, output is a really key word, and we are stronger together. Thank you. The position, the impact, and the result. Prompt and expedient quality changes. Benefit for the clients, benefit for us, and staying together. Thank you. We are actually in the stage of channeling our strategy, and I think these words will be taken note of, will be noticed, and they will be a part of the strategy. So we will perform the discussion of the documents on the digital financing. I think it will be a chance to consolidate our joint opinion and present it to the regulator. I would like to once again thank our wonderful participants, and we are stronger together.